Everybody, it's Victor. It's time for another Eden Run here, the Binding of Isaac Victor Repentance series. Happy Monday, Mosh Pit. I hope your weekends were awesome. We did have another video across 3,000 likes, which now puts us only 6 away from the Glitch Chaos Run, which of course is going to be on the YouTube save file. It's going to be all blind items with Glitched Crown as well as Chaos. It's going to be absolute insanity. I'm looking forward to it. Let's make it happen. Let's try to make it happen this week. That'll be an amazing pre-Christmas present. Here's your meme of the day. This is a new one here, brought to you by Karumi Does Memes. Title of the thread was "Everyone Hop On." He's warming it up, folks. Yeah. But I was actually a little bit scared to feature this one today because I obviously don't want a struggle bus, but we all know how the memes love to kind of put life into art, or art into life, something like that. CJ's gonna be Juliet Sierra 613 Charlie Juliet 2. We've got good damage, good tiers. Also start with the the Urn of Souls, as well as Infamy, which is, Infamy's okay for starting. I mean, it doesn't give us stats or anything, but it does give us a little bit of a better defense than, say, Trinity Shield does. You see one of the souls get gathered there by the Jar of Souls. Of course, I'm not going to pick up that Soul Heart quite yet, because obviously I want to save that for the next floor for our Devil Deal. We don't have to worry about the mosquitoes, hitting us or taking away any of our charges, because there's no charge on the Urn of Souls. We can do this. In the Urn of Souls, for what it is, it can do a good amount of damage. If you happen to keep up with the ammo consumption, which is easier said than done sometimes, but it does deal a massive amount of damage to anything that it roasts. And you see right there, it is a self-perpetuating system. So in theory, if you get enough souls, like we're about to get right here, in theory, you can basically just go through an entire level and just have it nuke everything and be totally fine. Now, what's nice about that is obviously we are completely independent from what our damage as well as our tier effects are. Oh, it's Curse the Blind too, which I didn't even realize. Which means, of course, we don't have to worry about, oh, we got bad tiers, oh, we got bad damage, because obviously we have the jar. So there's literally no reason not to use it in the early game. And as far as scaling goes, I'm not sure how well it scales. I'm pretty sure it doesn't scale with your damage at all, just as a flat amount of damage. But again, having a very reliable source of early game DPS that we don't have to be reliant upon our base stats is very nice. Oh wow, we get random soul heart there. Okay. All right, so we got to go make sure that we go get that one from the first room. I am going to use the Jar of Souls here against Ragman, Champion Ragman, and yeah, he's gonna get absolutely roasty toasty. The bosses do drop extra souls, and we do get Glass Eye, which is going to give us a damage upgrade as well. So very good, very, very nice. I am gonna go back here and go into the curse room to grab this. If I was quick enough, I would have gotten there. I would have gone in there, gotten it, and then gotten out without actually having taken any soul heart damage. So a little bit bad play on my part, but also we also have 0.90 damage, so it's not guaranteed we would have made it. And I'm pretty sure that the super secret room is over here. Nope. It's just gas. Okay. So good start here. Obviously, I'm not going to go in the first floor item room. It's blind, so yeah, I don't care. Of course, it gives us ample opportunity to go check out last week's question of the episode, which we started off with the Bloody Touch episode, which of course was a very, very good run that we had exemplified by Death's Touch. And I simply just asked on the question of the episode, what is your thoughts on Death's Touch? And the most upvoted comment by far and away came in from Aaron Wilder, who said almost an always immediate grab, if nothing else, just for piercing. And yeah, I mean, the almost immediate grab there, obviously that is in reference to the fact that it is technically a tiers down. So that is something to kind of warrant a little bit of pause, but for the most part, it's still I mean, come on, it's Death's Touch. You're not gonna finish behind with Death's Touch, right? You're going to just smoke everything, especially in the early game. So speaking of the next upvoted comment here came in from Ronnie J, who basically just echoed what he just said. Which was, who could turn down shooting giant scythes? Thank you, Ronnie J, as always, for taking part in the question of the day, daily questions. Very weird way to say it, but Yeah, I mean, and you get to shoot big freaking scythes. Like who could ever be sad about that? You know, Death's Touch is just it's just a top tier item through and through. 2 bombs and 2 keys for 15 cents is not honestly a bad trade here. We still... I actually think that playing Judgment would be a little bit more helpful because we might be able to get an HP upgrade before this Devil Deal and then still have enough to get this Soul Heart. That's... Well, we bought that key, but that's exactly what's going to happen here. I'm going to stick with the Urn of Souls. It's actually doing pretty gangbusters for us right now. It's not an item that you really see me use all that much. We did get Adrenaline from the item room as well, which is going to give us more damage based on how low our HP goes. So we play a low life build, we can actually profit very nicely from Adrenaline. But yeah, we're gonna get the pact here. Obviously, we're gonna take the pact because, I mean, obviously it's one of the best early game items, one of the best items, period. You get a huge stat up, tears up, damage up. It contributes towards Leviathan, and on top of all that, you also get 2 soul hearts for taking it. So, which we're going to use one of them here, maybe get one back. Yeah, overall, excellent start here for floor number 2. We did get shot speed thanks to stem cells, and yeah, movement speed is definitely going to be on our radar now. So, very strong start. Last but not least, we had a third most upvoted comment came in from Creative Name 69, who just simply said worth, and then they put a skull emoji. So yeah, I mean, Death's Touch. If you see Death's Touch, you take Death's Touch. That's pretty much bottom line. Although I have been known to turn down Death's Touch on rare occasions where like we didn't need piercing shots, and I also couldn't afford to really have that tears down. I use the jar here. The urn. It's a Urn of Souls. Urn of Souls? Yeah. Sometimes I say jar, sometimes I say urn. It's urn. Yeah, trying to be sparing with the trigger here. We don't really want to max out our ammo, but at the same time, we don't want to like waste charges. We'll get this dime here. It's rooms like this that we can really catch up on the ammo for the Urn of Souls and then just roast everything and anything that's easy. Ideally, you want to be killing 2 enemies with 1 shot. Now, of course, if you have rooms like this, you can also use the urn simply just for defensive purposes to destroy the death rattles that the Dark Grubs... my brain broke there for a second. That the Dark Grubs do. No, there's sometimes a Tinted Rock in there, but not this time. We'll take Uranus. Uranus is going to give us the freezing tier effect, and that's already way better than what Play-Doh Cookie could have ever given us. If we get one more key, we could potentially get a reroll here with... the item pedestal, so let's find out. Notice how Uranus does not stop the charge or the ammo for the the Urn of Souls. It is very tempting for me to take the Book of Secrets because obviously I'm addicted to mapping, and this is a full character reroll, which I don't know, man. No, we gotta give the urn a little bit of time to cook. You know, it's not an item that you see me take a whole lot just because it does get outclassed by like, you know, soul heart generators or damage buffers or anything like that. So, you know, there is a little bit more of a reason to not use the urn rather than for using the urn. However, I think in this case, for this run, you know, it's a good showcase, right? See there, it even destroys the Ipecac shots of not only Pestilence, but the ads. You get a orbital. We don't have enough money for the shop. I think we're just going to head on down. We are roasting this run. I'm going to take a drink of water. Sorry if you're hearing crackling there. That was me finishing off the bottle. Now, one thing I will say you have to be careful with Urn of Soul is obviously you need to be careful of the knockback that it does. It already caused us to get hit once in this run, which obviously I wasn't too happy about. But you just have One of the big annoyances about the urn is the fact that you just have to kind of fight against it, which is, again, really annoying. And it can be dangerous. You have to be careful with it. Positioning in Isaac is one of the most important things to learn, especially when you're just starting out. So anything that knocks you out of position, or at least an optimal position, is not something that you want. You're obviously not going to be taking that either. And it does feel like sometimes when you use the urn, like it has armor piercing. I don't know why. Like it feels like it just does a incredible amount of damage to really, really tanky enemies. But that could just be my imagination. We're going to use 2 bombs here to gain a decent amount of money. Was it worth 2 bombs? Maybe. I mean, we did get a luck upgrade out of it, so I'm not going to complain. We have 10 cents. I definitely do want to go find the shop here with 10 cents because we might fight a greed fight or something like that. Obviously, we want to have stuff that spawns other things like that so we can really farm up the ammo on the urn. You can actually play this Demon Judgment down to completion here as you see adrenaline kick in. Excuse me? Yeah, deep pockets. Not really what I'm after here. Lover's card. The lovers. Technically speaking, we really didn't have to use the Lover's card there. We could have, like, rode the adrenaline DPS wave if we really, really wanted to. Maybe the secret room would be there. It wasn't. Of course, everyone and their mother going and playing the World of Warcraft Season of Discovery right now, and like I'm happy for people who are enjoying it. I just cannot bring myself to leveling a character in Classic WoW. I despise classic leveling. And I know that that's part of the charm for some people. Like they really enjoy like those long grinds, by the way, 68%. But I can't do it anymore. I really, really am not built for long form MMO grinding anymore. It's not in World of Warcraft anyway. Like I feel like I put in my time, you know. I did do a lot of wowing back in the day. I mean, we all did. A little bit peeved that host didn't die. There we go. If we ever need the extra ammo, we can obviously just not use the urn and just simply farm it up. But yeah, I mean, a lot of my friends, streamer friends, and real life friends, they're currently playing Season of Discovery, and it's basically like Blizzard looked at old school RuneScape leagues and they were like, we want to do that, but with WoW, and so they did that. So it's a good idea. I dig the idea of them making it to where there's a reason. Like it's something new, right? It's a new mechanic built on something that worked. Like people love Classic WoW, and for what it was, like I do like Classic WoW. I just don't like Classic WoW. Does that make sense? Like the remake. Now, what I will say is that if Blizzard actually made Classic WoW and made it with like all of like the modern day like conveniences that we have in retail, then I'd be all over that. Like the faster leveling, PvP leveling, the group finder, all that stuff. I'd be 100% down with that. Because then, like, yeah, I can level through PvP, have lots of fun. We can do group finders, that sort of thing. That is what I hope they end up doing with Classic, because that would bring me back. But just straight up, just like saying, hey, here you go, get to level another Classic character again. And I tried doing the hardcore thing. Like I tried it and I got to level 11. I didn't die, but I was just like, man, I am bored off of my gourd right now. See that we can use the camo undies here as well to destroy enemies. What many keys? Did a pretty good job of maintaining our ammo right now. Really? Oh, I guess that makes sense. Again, you can use the urn here for defensive measures if you need to. As we had to wait till floor 5 for our devil deal. There you go. So that was almost a full charge of the Urn of Souls against Green Cage, and Green Cage is still alive. You get booster pack. That's just super duper awesome. It's really great.
Of diamonds.
Temperance Machine for Stars card, which would remove... That would remove Glass Eye, but that would give us 2 more items. The crawl space isn't even... It's not even worth taking. We can go into the shop now. You can also use the Reverse Stars card to gain secret room items. Birthright might be good here. And we just get Birthright again. And we just get Adrenaline again. Game, you okay? Everything all right over there, game? I'm a little confused here. Getting some very mixed signals. That's back-to-back dupes that you've given us here. Bomb. So we're gonna use the mystery gift in the secret room. Get the Eternal Desizzle. Okay, could be worth it. Oh, mercy. Get Death Certificate. I'm going to get rid of the movement speed buff here. So, what do we go? We still have plenty of time to pick something that we want and get to Boss Rush. There's so many things that we could get here. I mean, it's not so many things. It's literally all the things that we can get. I mean, Sacred Heart Uranus is real good. Archie is definitely a strong contender. Rock Bottom, I don't think is even in the running right now. Yes, we could get some. We can get some massive help with camo undies. What does our tears rate go up to? It goes up to like 11. Okay, maybe Rock Bottom is the way to go here. Hey! It is difficult. Careful. It is difficult passing up Sacred Heart, though. Binge Eater, also a strong contender. Yeah, I think Rock Bottom is gonna have to be it. And that's the only reason why we're even doing that is because of the fact that we have camo undies. Getting a good amount of money here. Of course, we're going to be doing a full clear of the Death Certificate room. That's just how we roll, you know? You know, Glitch Crown, there's Glitch Crown. Still not found Rock Bottom. Did we manage to go into every room but the one that Rock Bottom was in? think the answer is yes. Or I missed rock bottom completely. R key is also a possibility here, but the hell is rock bottom? And Genesis is always a player. Oh, there it is. Genesis is always a possibility too, but yeah. Yeah, rock bottom's gonna do it. Pyro, wavy cap now. Okay, yeah, so we're not gonna get any, we won't gain any favor out of wavy cap as far as the tears rate is concerned, because of the fact that rock bottom has made our tears cap totally eclipse of what is possible currently for wavy cap. So I'm not going to sit here and torture y'all with wavy cap. I am going to hold on to the eternal desizzle though. We do need to get a move on if we're going to make boss rush. So we gotta go. Gotta go, Isaac. We'll take this strength card. And we can use the strength card immediately just to give ourselves even more damage. And again, with rock bottom, it's not going to allow our stats to drop below what it is currently. So rock bottom definitely was the play. And that was because of camo undies. So we've gained absolutely massive amounts of tears, massive amounts of damage. We are Gucci fam now. Athos would say. Still unironically playing Raid Shadow Legends. I know that sounds crazy, but like I've been enjoying it. Like I think I'm just starved for a new game that isn't like multiplayer. I mean, I guess technically Raid is multiplayer if you want to think about it that way, but it's fun interacting with the mosh pit. It's fun inviting people to a new game and stuff. And no, they're not continuing to pay me to say that. I'm just saying. Gotta get a move on here, Isaac. Yeah, that's not good. We need to find our tinted skull here. I will be putting out more Lethal Company videos as well. Yeah, if we're gonna make boss rush, this has to be a teleport here. Not a teleport. It's gonna be a Christmas miracle if we actually make. Oh my gosh, Isaac's tomb as well. I don't think boss rush is happening here. We could have made it, but I don't really want to do boss rush. We're not going to make it across the map by then. Could we have done boss rush? Yeah, but then we would have sacrificed the store as well as the item room, which may or may not be worth it. Normally, it's not worth it. We did have the left hand, by the way, which is going to turn all of our chests into red chests. Cool card. Check out this arcade real quick and see if there's absolutely nothing in it. Now the Eternal Desizzle. I mean, the only reason why I was really trying hard to get to the boss rush was just simply because I wanted to re-roll with the Eternal D6 in case we got something bad. But I believe if it consumes one of the pedestals, it will actually remove, or it will start boss rush, I think. So we really needed that full card. Again, that's one of those changes that like happened, and I'm just like, I don't know if that's true or not anymore. Used to be the case, but seen lots of repentance patches. Oof, that is some tasty, tasty damage right there, thanks to rock bottom. And we did not get a double deal. I'm gonna go negative. I'm gonna go Polaroid here. been fighting the lamb quite often, so you see there, the left hand does not turn Isaac's tomb into a red chest, thankfully. Yeah, I've been enjoying playing Lethal Company with the boys, and it's been fun. I think that Lethal Company is just one of those games that brings streamers together and kind of reconnects people with like other communities, and for the better. I mean, it's very akin to Among Us. It's very akin to a lesser extent like Phasmophobia and that sort of thing, and the formula just works. You know, if you want a wildly, this is just a free tip from your old pal Invicta here. If you want a wildly successful game in this day and age of influencers and YouTubers and stuff, then really find a formula where a lot of YouTubers can get together very easily and have very watchable gameplay, very clippable games. By clippable, I mean literal like Twitch clips or like TikToks or YouTube shorts or that sort of thing. That is the winning formula. That's the reason why Among Us did so well, other than the fact that it was during the pandemic and there was like nothing else to do really at the time. But it was just a formula that just worked, right? Very easy, very, very easy approach to get a lot of powerful influencers together very, very quickly and easily. Everyone kind of understood the game after the first time they ever played it, and then it just took off, right? And the thing about Among Us is that Among Us was around for years before it actually took off. And that's awesome. But Lethal Company has that clippable potential and watchability and replayability that people keep coming back to see. Like, some people may not want to admit this, and you know, I'm not afraid to say it, but you can kind of consider games like Among Us and Lethal Company a roguelite. You know, you do reset after, I mean, every game is different. You know, the results could be wildly, I mean, you're never going to see the same game twice. And roguelites are really made for longevity when it comes to influencers. Wow, we found another 68%. And I think that is one of those things where it just makes sense to cater towards a large amount of people. Like Fortnite, for example, obviously, you know, I wouldn't say that that's a roguelite, because yes, technically every game is pretty much going to be different, but I mean, it's a shooter. It's not a roguelite. You know, Phasmophobia, it's a horror game. You could consider it a roguelite, I guess, because it does have random elements to it. But like I said, that Phasmo is like the lesser extent, because yeah, it was a very social game, but it didn't hit wide appeal because some people just don't like horror games, right? Some people don't like jump scares. Some people just don't like the formula, or it's just too intimidating, whatever have you. But Lethal Company, you know, for being a one-person developer is an absolutely incredible experience, and they should be very proud, I'm sure they are, of what they've accomplished. And the game is rightfully so deserving all the praise that you're seeing on social media, on you know, you're seeing it played all over Twitch, all over YouTube. And it's one of those meme games. Like, if you want longevity in your game, turn it to memes. Memes will power your game forever, long after the game dies, right? The meme will live on. Like, no one for the history of the rest of time will ever forget Among Us. You know, no one for the history of time will ever forget, like, Crab Champions, you know, where the crab dance meme, you know, inspired. You know, that sort of thing, that's really what keeps things around. And no one will ever forget Isaac, for that matter. Like, I don't mean to slight the hand that feeds here, but, you know, Isaac is just a testament to just how good roguelites are really built for longevity. I've always said that I believe that Isaac is the perfect streaming game. I stand by that. I think that because it's a formula going over what I just got done talking about with the other games. It's a formula that everyone, if you know the game, you understand. Like there's an end game boss. You know what you have to do, and there's multiple different avenues to take to get the same results. And now with the multiplayer stuff coming in, next year, at the end of next year, they're trying to make it even more social, even more online, more connected, and trying to get a more wider appeal to Isaac, which Isaac is already huge. But it's built on this formula, and I think that my channel definitely qualifies as a good example of just how good the roguelite genre is made for long-term media consumption. Long-form media consumption. Long-term, long-form. You have many different people with many different types of ways to play, different strategies, different philosophies on the game. And they all accomplish the same thing. It's about beating the game, right? And that's what Isaac really does best. It exemplifies the roguelite genre in the best ways. Despite it being annoying, despite it being trolly, despite it being, aggravating a lot, you just cannot say enough about what Isaac does right. It does way more right than way more wrong. Rosaries added to all item pools. It doesn't matter. Great block by Infamy there. I didn't realize Infamy was still like active at that angle. Definitely will take Polydactyl as well as the Celtic Cross. We have Rock Bottom, so we can't really lose anything. Except health, I guess. Obviously, we don't need to take any red hearts because we don't want to lose our Polar Invincibility. Not that there's any risk or danger. We won this. We won this run as soon as we end up getting a death certificate off of that Stars card. Rock Bottom. Okay, let's fight Daddy again, I guess. Rock. Excuse me. Rock Bottom combined with Camo Undies really just sold me on this combo. It's not a combo that we've ever really truly paid attention to. I mean, obviously Rock Bottom, but like Camo Undies, like that's not the first thing that comes to mind, You think like Kidney Stone, you think even like Hallowed Ground or something like that. Not Camo Undies, but the stacking buff that we get at the very beginning is just too strong. And to be able to have that for an entire run, just forget about it. Forget about it. It's over. We even outgunned Gertie in a short charge situation there. PH Dizzle. It doesn't really matter at this point, but, it's nice to have. Speed up. Now, notice that we didn't have a movement speed up from that speed up pill, and that's just an example of what I was talking about with our Tears Rate Wavy Cap. Because we have a temporary buff of our stats that eclipses what is naturally possible right now thanks to our base stats, we will not be able to see any stat up changes for like tears or movement speed or even damage until we reach a threshold of a stat that's going to break that. So we would have to get a lot of damage upgrades in order for us to actually start seeing damage upgrades. Does that make sense? Because right now our artificial ceiling is sitting at 19.62, right? We would have to get an absurd amount of damage upgrades with Rock Bottom before we'd actually start seeing like results of that. Before it would go any higher. Same thing goes for movement speed, same thing goes for tears rate, etc., etc. What a run, man. What a run. Thank you for watching, everybody. I got to say that, it's a great way to start the week when we got Rock Bottom and freaking Death Certificate. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you click the like button, leave a comment down below. Your question of the episode today on the super easy run. Great start to the new week is simply, what would you have picked in Death Certificate's room? Would you have taken something different other than rock bottom given the situation? Post them in the comments down below. I'd love to know your thoughts on that. And again, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Have a great start to your Mondays, everybody. And as always, I'll see you all next time. Until then, so long, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks to patrons of mine like 3/4, Happy B-Day Nash, and Dare Shooty01. If you'd like to have your name read at the end of the last episode, check out my Patreon campaign, which you can find at patreon.com/Sinvicta.